Hello, everyone. This is our first installment of Echoed Influence. I'm Anthony Spartacus Tamayo, and I'm sitting here with Modest Betty herself, April Rodriguez. How are you today?
Good.
And we have a special guest, Deandre. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Dre Day, the poet himself.
Yes, indeed.
So, how was your weekend? What did you do?
Weekend was good. Just spent time with the family pretty much. Last week went and saw Deadpool.
Nice.
Deadpool 2, new one. So really, really liked it even more than the first one. So I was laughing the entire time. So,
Yes.
Yes,
so hilarious.
Want to go see it again? Definitely.
What did you think about the Juggernaut scene?
Oh, it was crazy because I remember hearing something about it online that like somebody said like in the trailer they think they saw like a piece of his helmet and I was like I tried not to read too much into it. I was like I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
That's his helmet, huh? When he was punching it.
Yeah, I was like I don't want to know. Let me go in the scene. So I was like still got to keep that surprise for myself when I saw
and when
it.
he came out, he was Hulk-like. You know what I mean? Just big, massive. Something I've always wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. I had to look it up, but who played Juggernaut? Because if you noticed in the credits that when they put Juggernaut's name, it just said played by himself. And later I had to research and everything, and basically it was Ryan Reynolds who voiced him and did most of the action parts for Juggernaut.
Okay.
The director said it was a combination of Ryan Reynolds himself and the director himself, so it was pretty cool to learn that. I was like, of course in a Deadpool 2 movie they would use, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
So over the weekend, April and I, we had an event called DonCon.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. It was our own take on comic book conventions, and it was an art show. We had a few bands play. Honestly, I feel like we did a lot of things right, considering that the cops even ended up having to come and shut us down.
A personal victory.
Yeah. And just like we made so many props, we put so many hours into it, and we were ready for any snags.
And we were really trying to make up for Lucky Folk, which we had to cancel
back in March.
So we were putting our heart and soul into it, and it turned out really well.
Yeah, I was really happy to see all the people that dressed up and everything, and those who were willing to pay. There was a lot of people who you were just like, it's okay, just go ahead. And they're like, no, I want to pay. So thank you to all you people out there who made it happen. Thank you to the artists. Thank you to the bands. Thank you to the food vendor. This was my father. That was my dad.
We were supposed to have a vegan food vendor, and they ended up they had a flood the night before in their apartment. So they messaged us 7 a.m, letting us know that they weren't going to show up, and we were like,
first snag. Jeez.
Right when we wake up, but then we ended up just making some burritos and
I think the day before that. One of the bands had to back out or something like that, right?
Yeah,
so
like
we
a
had
few
to
days
replace
before.
them.
Yeah, a couple days before the event, we had a band back out, and we had to find a replacement. But luckily, there's so many bands locally that
ready and willing, and talented too. Like, I caught Graves 13, one of the bands that was there, and they just had a real good, an excellent drummer.
Yeah.
I say that because I'm training him in MMA and everything, but really, like, the drum caught my ear from Graves 13, and I was
helping me set up when they went on.
Yeah, and I didn't really I didn't know who was playing.
Gotcha.
And once I heard, I was just like enjoying myself. I was like, this is nice. This is dope battle drum.
Who is this? He asked me, who is this?
And she's like, it's Joseph. I was like, really? From Graves 13, huh? This is amazing. Another favorite of mine was Kai Hills. He has a really good voice.
Kai Hills is my personal favorite too. But Joseph, you're actually training right now, so he's got a special connection with him.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get some more guys from the band. It was so cool. They showed up because, like I said, we all dressed up,
right? And
they showed up dressed like Dragon Ball Z characters. Like all of them had the orange. The whole band had orange suits and like a Z-Force type of thing. It was pretty cool, man. I really, really enjoyed that.
That's awesome.
Let's see.
So we had a bunch of artists. Graves 13. We had Kai Hills, and then we had Yellow Fuzz, Ska of Sin, Hanny and the Boys. But not just performing artists, we had a lot of visual artists.
Yeah, I mean, personally myself, I sold a decent amount of paintings. I sold my Gambit and Rogue.
Nice.
And I sold both my Deadpools. Naturally, the day after.
Yeah.
The day after.
Those went quick.
Yeah.
And now I know I got to make a lot more. And I was real happy with the turnout. You know, I made a good, cool, like $100 and something bucks.
And a lot of the artists, I feel like at least everyone sold at least one thing. But
Yeah,
it was just fun and cool to hang out.
Yeah, my nephew Alex was featuring his first. It was his first art event,
His first set
and
of
he
photos.
he sold one at least one, and that's where you start.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it was a fun event, man. It was just like, you know, I didn't have too many beers. You know, I had to be a little bit alert, but I had to keep up appearance because I was Logan. You know, I had to I do a few. But a lot of our stuff was just like do-it-yourself cosplay. Like even the cigar I made was out of cardboard. We even made the claws.
Okay.
Which is something that we want to do too, is start doing cardboard cosplay.
Yeah, more cardboard cosplay. It's more of a like I said, it's a do-it-yourself, that homey feeling. Like, you know, you just did it in your backyard.
Did you see the props we made?
No, I didn't.
No?
I only saw like the stuff you posted, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
We did a Doctor Strange one, just to, you know, you have to use it as Stormbreaker.
Wow. Yeah.
That is sick, dude.
Yeah, just out of cardboard, just something simple. And look at the Doctor Strange ones. They also illuminate, like,
Oh yeah.
like if you were to hold it up,
fluorescent.
like hold it in your hand, like boom.
Oh man. Okay.
Do you play Zelda at all?
Do you know who
I used to, yes.
Yeah.
She put a lot of hours into these, and especially this one. This is her favorite.
Oh,
It's a nice
dope.
link. Can you show the camera?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is dope.
Yeah, see, most of them are fluorescent too. We made some lightsabers. We made the gauntlet. We made these are my favorite. I love this. Is what I did. I have made these claws just to fit in perfectly like that.
Right.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Chill.
Oh man.
And people were playing with them. People were, you know, just taking a few pictures, tagging us. It was pretty cool. Thank you to those people too.
Yes, thank you for helping, encouraging, and supporting.
Yeah, like once one person went up there to start playing with them, a lot of people started going up there. Thank you for the people who wrote on our canvas.
Oh yeah.
For all that love.
I should have got that from Stevie today. I was at her house. I
Oh.
didn't even get it. Next time.
That's all right. Where should we put it up?
The idea was to put it up at every event and then have it like
More
build
and more.
and build and build.
Oh,
but
man.
we
don't have any more room on that one.
We're gonna need to get one for each event, I think.
So Deandre, if you had went, what would you have showed up as? If you had to dress up?
Well, I had to dress up. Let me see.
You never had someone that you wanted to dress up as?
Superman. Like that was like as a kid, like it was always the thing that I imagined, like dressing up as Superman. So like that would be like my top, like Superman. For
Superman. That was as a kid too. I was a huge Superman fan.
Yeah.
And I could freaking curled my hair, and you know I would wear the boots even though I wasn't like really like just to ride my bike around, you know.
Right.
And the cape. You know, I was a real big Superman fan. And then I found out who Thor was, and I was like, oh, this is pretty badass. So, I gotta know, like, what did you think of Infinity War?
I had to see it twice because, like, with so much going on and so much happens, like, so it's like it was tough to take in. So even after the movie, and I was just sitting there like,
I feel like I missed something.
Like, what's going on? Like, so after I saw it, I was able to digest everything a little bit more, and maybe to love it a lot, like even more. Like it was a great film with. I really appreciated the emotional weight it has to it. Like you really feel for like what they bring you through. Like
emotionally
you really
drained.
Yeah. It takes a lot out of you.
See, I took
You're
after
so
watching
invested in each individual character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you really don't want anything bad to happen to them.
Any
So,
of them. Yeah, but
So
you know
true.
that something is.
it has to. Yeah, you know, I took my dad to see it, and he said that. He said, "Well, you have to really pay attention to that." You know, like he too missed a few things, but he was just waiting to see like Thor and Black Panther. That's like the two dudes he wanted to see. Yeah,
and that was one of my favorite scenes too. Like in Wakanda, when like everybody starts showing up in Wakanda, and you just hear Black Panther just "Ibombe," like everybody like, chanting and ready. I'm like, oh man,
and M'Baku too, like his little tribe. Like, get it out, homie. You got something in your throat. So what I noticed too in that that Captain America, his emblem is darkened now, you know.
Yeah.
And I noticed that throughout, like with the last 3 movies of him in him, like serious movies, he started to reject more and more. Like first it was like the helmet, then it was the Shield, and now it's the Star, and it's like, it's not that he's losing his patriotism. He's losing the patriotism or the belief in the structured system.
How he saw it before
in the government. Yeah, it's like that doesn't work. Yeah. His patriotism is pure, which is why Rhodey, he was quick to side with him as if he was the real Cap. Like when Ross told him, arrest these men, and he's like, man, he just wiped him off on the computer, and he's like, well, that's court-martialed, but you're Captain America, like what you say goes, like not what these structured government officials say.
Right.
And I really I like that. I really started to really dig Cap, and it's funny because the woman who bought my painting, that's what she said, that she doesn't like Batman, she doesn't like Cap, she didn't like a couple characters, she didn't like Superman, and I was like, okay, well the only thing I see correlative between all three is that they're all Boy Scouts, and I explained to her how he's rebelling against their version of patriotism and showing them a better version of it.
Right.
And then, just talking to her about that, she goes, oh, I never looked at it that way. You know what? I like Cap now, and that was cool, just to switch her idea. Or maybe she was just trying to sweeten me up to drop the price, but I'm about to do that. I had just put the price up, too. I just dangled it, and she's like, hey, don't sell that one. That one's mine. And I was like, oh, does that say 65? I meant to put a 1 in front of that one, But, yeah, like I said, Captain America, he's on his own thing now. I really like him, how he's progressing as a
character.
Yes. Yeah. Any characters that stood out to you in Infinity War, like that you liked personally?
Let's see. Stood out to me. Thor's arc in Infinity War was amazing. Like that fact that he wasn't going to give up either.
Yeah, he was
all the loss that he's gone through.
But he was optimistic about it. Like I don't see any other way. I have to win, right? Like I have to. I lost everything, and even
he was explaining it to Rocket.
As pessimistic as Rocket was being. Yeah. He was like, well, you lost to him. He's the toughest dude. And he's like, well, I have nothing else to lose. I'm going to kill him, or what did he call him, Rabbit?
Rabbit, yeah. Call him Sweet Rabbit.
I bet you feel well, morons. Oh, my God, that scene where Peter Quill was just so jealous. Like, when he was on there, he's like a pirate mated with an angel. He's like, I'm muscular, and on the real, dude. Like, yes, Chris Pratt is muscular. He had nothing to be ashamed
today. Of. A meme of him, where it was like it had a picture of him when he was chubbier, and it was in a picture of him when he was, built, and it said, choose a Chris Pratt that you want to be like. Neither is a wrong answer.
Yeah. That's cool. I miss him as Andy, though. Yeah. Andy, have you seen Parks and Rec?
A little bit. Bits and pieces of it.
I really love that guy.
You haven't seen the whole thing?
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Like,
season to season, it's worth that watch.
Oh, yeah, it's super funny.
I just started getting into The Office. Like,
oh, my God, dude.
They're like, you got to watch The Office. Like,
yes. You're going to see it all the way through. I recently saw The Office myself, too, and I binge-watched it all the way through. I couldn't believe some of the shit that was being said and what was going on. I was just... What season are you on?
First season, like I'm.
Oh, dude! Oh, man! I wanted to. You know which one I wanted to tell him too. Oh man! I can't wait till that happens. We're gonna have you come on in a few weeks and give us an update.
Definitely.
Okay. Aside from that, from Infinity War to The Office, I just gotta know, who's your favorite character in The Office?
So far, it's John Krasinski's character.
Oh, Jim. You know what? I hate that. I hate Jim, man. I later on you'll see why. I think you'll see why. Like, there's gotta. I mean, I don't want to influence you. I don't want to be like, oh,
I like Jim.
I know, and she likes Pam too, and I don't like Pam either. And I don't like Dwight. Like, I call these motherfuckers out on their shit as if I'm at work with them.
Right.
So nobody's really safe, except for maybe Stanley. Stanley just does his shit and leaves.
Yeah.
I like him. But everybody, like, I don't care who it is. And Jim does a lot of douchebag shit where I go, fuck you, Jim. That wasn't funny. Like, whatever. But I had to ask. And like I said, in a few weeks, I gotta have you back here and tell me what you think about him and the show and everything. Oh, man, it's awesome. I love it. And I'm so glad she showed it to me, but now I think I watch it so often that she's like sick of it.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So, tell me your opinion on Batman versus Superman. Like, I need to know like your intimate opinion about it. Like, why does it mean so much to you?
Well, I feel like the first time I watched it, it kind of had me feeling not the emotional weight of Infinity War, but like it hit me heavy, like with the things that was going on inside the movie and everything like that. And so I was like, I know I got to automatically watch this movie again. I'm like, just to make sure I understand it.
Again, you had to watch it twice to digest it.
And a lot of people, like, I felt like they saw it and automatically they didn't love it the first watch. So they were like, oh, well, I don't really like it. And they had their minds like set coming in, like, oh, I need to do this, and this for me to love it. And just because they didn't love it off the bat, they thought, oh, well, it's not a good movie. And each time after me watching it, especially the ultimate version, where like the cut scenes were put in, you got to see what the full vision was. Yeah, I just like loved it each time.
It explained it a lot more.
A lot more.
Could you explain to me? Like, I know there's biblical factors behind Zack Snyder's directing.
Okay.
Do you know that? Do you know anything about this?
I know there's certain tie-ins because you even hear it throughout BVS when. Like where they're the lady that goes to the Supreme Court room, and she's testifying about what happened in her village, and they said, "Well, let the public know that we hold him responsible." And the lady responds, "Well, he won't answer to you. I don't think he answers to anyone, not even God." And then throughout the movie, you hear like Lex comparing him to a god, like saying, "If God is all good, then he can't be all powerful, and he's all powerful, he can't be all good."
Yeah,
so they're like comparing him to a god. Yeah, so you see a lot of that going on.
See, and I thought that was true too. And I see a lot of people writing when they have to defend. They say like a lot of people don't see the biblical implications in it. And I have yet to see them all. I get the Judgment Day. Right. I get the horseman type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't see it yet. And I know the scene meant a lot to you. That Martha one. Yeah. Why the Martha scene?
Not just like that it meant a lot to me, like I understood it. Okay. And I feel like a lot of people immediately resented that scene because a lot of people say, oh, that's lazy because both of their moms have the same name. But it wasn't even just both of them using both of their moms having the same name. I feel like Batman was able to come to a realization when he realized he was not just an alien from another planet that was there going to destroy the world. He's more human than Batman. Like he let himself have a girlfriend. He had a mom that he cared about. He's the only
Someone
reason
came and cared for him. Yeah.
Right. The only reason he was there to have his mom saved. He wasn't even there to fight. That's why he showed up. He said, "Bruce, like you need to listen to me. You don't understand." And Batman's like not trying to hear it at that point because he's put all his preparation into fighting you and thinking that he's just going to become a threat one day. And then he realizes in that moment, like, there's this woman here that loves him, that he loves, and he's there for his mom.
And he has a mama he loves too.
And he has to realize in that moment, like, what am I doing? Like, this is not what I started being Batman for. And, but you also understand where Batman's coming from too, like all the things he's going through. Like he's been Batman for 20 years at this time. It's not the young Bruce is older now. He's lost Robin. He's like lost countless people. He's fought all these different bad guys. And he was like, what good have we done? Basically, he was like, bad guys still keep coming. He was like, this may be the one thing that I do. He even says it like, this may be the one thing that I do that means something.
I see.
Yeah.
So I understand the gravity too of the situation. Like to realize like, oh shit, like this, like he would almost question like, is he really an alien or did this dude obtain his powers? It doesn't matter. Like he felt some kind of human connection to him, right? Which I feel is pretty cool. I feel that there was just a lot of Superman fans who didn't like the outcome and started to hate on it, and then hating on it became a fad, right? Like fad hating and stuff like that. And I get that a lot with comic book movies, and it just so happens that the WB or that DC gets that rap more than anybody. Yeah. And
very true.
But like, do you believe that the Justice League could have beaten Thanos?
I feel like the full strength Justice League, yeah. Like I feel like with the 5, 6 they had together, they were struggling. But Superman, I feel like he'll handle his own. But like with the complete Justice League with Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern Corps,
and the Gauntlet, yeah. Like I mean, if he had the Gauntlet, like full on,
if they're full force, I definitely believe they can. I definitely believe they can. And Thanos was a great villain, though. Like I feel like Infinity War is kind of like his origin story of you understanding him as a villain and where he's come from.
Well, I still think even up until this phase, the Marvel characters, even like Black Panther, he's relatively new still. Yeah, like that's his origin story. He's just starting out. Spider-Man is just starting out. Yeah. Just even the Guardians of the Galaxy aren't quite a team yet. You know. Yeah. So, like I think the Avengers and everything, like they probably, if not, they already did pull it off.
Yeah.
But I think they're being sneaky. I think Doctor Strange has a plan, and he's doing it out. And but other than that, I think for me, Doctor Strange stood out in the movie. Thor did as well, but Doctor Strange was my boy. Like, I just love Doctor Strange. Yeah. Every time when people tell me, like, oh, who would you put up against Superman? It's him. It's Doctor Strange. He absorbs energy. Not only that, but he's magic, and magic is like Superman's big Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think even the Avengers, if they did something different or right or correct, they could have done it right then and there. But we need to have a movie. We need it. We need it. Are you excited about the Aquaman movie?
I'm so excited because that's one of the bright spots to me of because even though I'm a huge DC fan, I felt Justice League could have been done a lot better, and Zack Snyder had to step away because of what happened with his daughter, and I felt. Warner Brothers could have put a hold on Justice League. I'm like, you're rushing it, and I don't know why they're rushing things. That's my biggest thing because I love DC, but you can tell with how they've done this universe so far that they're trying to rush things out to try to compete with Marvel. I'm like, but you should be happy that Marvel's getting to shine because if anything they're doing, they're increasing the thirst for people to see more comic book, more stories told. So you don't have to rush anything out.
They just need some patience is all,
Yeah, and Aquaman to me was one of the standouts of Justice League, and like just the way that Jason Momoa plays him. And like his giving a different take to Aquaman. It's not like used to be like the butt of people's jokes, but now when you see him playing it, you're not joking like about Jason Momoa. You're like,
this fool will actually come over here and kick my ass,
right? And so that was one of the bright spots to me about Justice League. So I'm really looking forward to like what James Wan is going to do with that world, and like how he's going to create an underwater world, and what he's going to do with the villains, and just creating and expanding the DC universe with that movie. Yeah,
I wanted to point out real quick too is that like the difference of opinion, like you, like I said, you like DC and your favorite dude is Superman.
Right.
I love Marvel, and I have many like favorites, but like mostly for the most part, the Punisher and Deadpool are like my favorite guys.
Yeah,
and I think it's important to allow other people to have their opinion. And let them be happy with it, and because that person's appreciating the writing. A lot of times, like people get upset. Like recently, I saw that they're doing they did a comic book where there's a Muslim woman who becomes the new Miss Marvel. She takes up the mantle. So many people got upset about that. It was ridiculous, and I just they didn't want their toys played with, so to speak. But that's good writing. You don't even know what the story's about, and yet you're going to say, like, oh, they're catering to women and Muslims, and they're catering to the weaker minority. And it's like, dude, why can't you just enjoy the story? If you don't like it, just don't read it. Don't make it about that.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the opinions of others. And just what I like about people who have a favorite comic book character that's not common, it's usually because they have a personal attachment to him. And I love talking to those people. Like some kid was his favorite dude was Martian Manhunter because he liked Oreos.
Yeah.
And Martian Manhunter, his huge weakness is Oreos, like a literal addiction to Oreos. So it's pretty crazy. So like in all sense of the whole thing, like if Thanos fought Justice League, he can read all their minds, read all their weaknesses. First thing, Martian Manhunter is probably the strongest dude. Fucking Oreos. Then he's distracted forever. He's just going to be addicted. I think the one person he would have a problem with is Wonder Woman, because I think Thanos in reality he could just create kryptonite, boom, and then what? I don't think Diana really has a real weakness.
No,
she's just badass, like an Amazon, and like he would actually have to fight her, which he probably could, like he probably would, but she'd put up a badass fight.
Yeah.
And see the Flash, all the time, just no, it's going backwards. Bink, back of your head. But did you cry for Infinity War?
The second time I did.
Yeah.
The first time I felt like it was a whole lot going on, so I was just trying to pay attention to everything.
I see.
And the second time around, like the scene with Spider-Man, like
it got everybody.
Like oh man, like that scene got me.
Freaking the guy, he looks like.
Oh no, you go.
The guy, Tom Holland, he looks like my nephew Derek. So watching him go, like I watched it 3 or 4 times, I think 3, 4 times. Each time I cried. Each time I cry because I can't help it. Seeing him go out and going, I'm sorry. And like, oh no. And baby teenage Groot kind of reminds me of my nephew Alex. So watching them both go, and it was just so sad. Did you hear what the director said Groot's last words were? Dad.
Wow.
To Rocket, he's like, no, Groot, no, and he's like, I am Groot. So that's basically him saying, Dad, like what's happening? Like,
Wow.
Sad. So the I think it was sometime in May of next year, the next Avengers will come out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for Ant-Man and Wasp, Miss Marvel, Aquaman, Venom. Ooh, we got a fucking good year ahead of us.
Yeah.
Shazam's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
is it called
year.
Shazam?
Okay. It's called Shazam, coming out next year. Looking forward to that. They just put out the official poster for it, and so I'm looking forward to that one.
So, Deandre, what's your art? What's your work? What is it that you do?
Poetry. Poetry is something I've done for a long time. Been writing since I was 12. Poetry, short stories, music, speaking. But poetry has been a mainstay for me for a long, long time. It started off as just like a form of expression when I was in an after-school program when I was 12, and one of the tutors there, her name was Brianne. Like, she was a poet, and she said, "This is something I use to express myself, and just to be artistic with it." And she showed me some of her work and showed me different examples of different poetry, and I started picking it up, writing for myself, and I've just been something I've stuck with ever since.
Who are some of your favorite poets?
Some of my favorite poets, one thing I've realized recently is that there's a huge Instagram community of poets, and I didn't realize this, and so I recently just started finding out about all these different poets like R.H. Sin on Instagram, and what's the other guy? R.M. Drake. It was awesome. It was amazing. There's all these incredible poets like Samantha Holmes is great. So I've been reading their stuff, and just even poets I even haven't built a name yet. I'll read their stuff and I'm like, how is this guy's not got books and bookstores? This is incredible. So
thank you for the shout out too, because listening to it again, we'll be able to look them up.
And
absolutely.
It's funny. That's something that we were just talking about recently too. Is the artist that looks for just to express themselves, as opposed to the artist who's looking for success and fame.
For the glory.
There's people who just need to get it out, and just it's not about trying to have millions and millions of books or fans, but just trying to get it out there, as opposed to people who are I just need to be famous.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this so people can like what they hear or see,
right,
or whatever. We had just saw Coco, right? We saw the movie Coco. Have you ever seen it,
movie.
Dude?
So
okay, yeah. If you thought I cried for Infinity War, it was in my room. My grandma's picture. She passed away, and it's right next to my TV. So watching that, it was just dude, that grandma looks exactly like her. Why are you doing this to me?
Right.
It really hit home. But it was that scene where he goes and it's what's this famous dude's name?
Oh, I don't remember. I remember the dad's
Well,
name is
that guy is the douche guy, but the Hector, the guy, was actually, he was about the music.
Yeah.
The other dude was about the fame and stuff. And watching it, you kind of get this tug on your chest, like this dude gave up his family for fame and shit. Your family, that don't sound right. That's not a message I want to hear.
Yeah.
And then the other dude was like, I try to go back to my family, but I fucking die. I choked on chorizo. But yeah, that was a great movie, and just like she said, people are just about the glory, and people are about doing it. And when I first did my first painting, it was just to do it.
Yeah.
And the painting basically almost made itself. I mean, I was having fun doing just the the galaxy shit, just planets and whatever. And then I realized, dude, I could collage a goddamn comic book on top of that, and that just looked beautiful. And even the streaks were meeting each other was perfect because the people were kissing.
Right.
So I mean, that was passion. I had no idea I was going to sell that, and I did. So let's see what else we got here. So I wanted to point out that we can learn a lot through reading a good story. In my case, I love comic books, and comic books really taught me a lot about life. Like, it's funny, like, I know people are gonna laugh at that sort of thing, but if you pay attention to X-Men and their old, like, 1970s, or, you know, even the animated series, you know, you would see it's about racial bigotry. It's about, like, people who are just born the way they are and people who hate them for who they are, these special gifts that they have because they're different. And even now, like, in 2018, I feel like we have sexual bigotry. Like, you know, people don't seem to, you know, like, people are hating on people for their sexual orientation, killing them, they're you know, whatever. And when I watched Deadpool, I got that sense, you know, that sense of, like, you know, pray the gay away type of thing. That's why they were trying to torture the kids, I guess, in a sense, for rehabilitation purposes, you know, to make them not mutants anymore. Yeah. You know, but that's who they are, and you can't get rid of that. And I think that's why Deadpool did what he did, and it was symbolic. You know, it was showing that, like, if Deadpool was there and he knew you got molested or this guy touched you at the fucking pray your gay away place, he's gonna shoot him in the goddamn head. But they had to symbolize it differently, you know. Yeah. Mutants. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's why I think, like, if you just listen to the story and just pay attention to I always relate it to today. You know, today's thinking and guessing is like a lot of Americans would say, like, Thanos is right. Thanos was right for killing half the population and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't do this. I didn't say this to make it a plot hole. I said it to my friends. Mm-hmm. I didn't say this like it was a plot hole because I know it's not. Thanos was bullshitting us when he said he was giving mercy. Mm-hmm. He wanted to kill those people. He wanted to kill half them. He was just blowing smoke up everybody's ass and calling it mercy. Yeah. You know, he could have made a bigger reality where more mouths could have been fed. Yeah. But he has a personal vendetta. I don't know if they're going to go comically inclined, but when I read in the comics, Thanos had to kill his own mother. And he was promised a glory after it, some kind of, like, you know, position and he was denied it. And if you recall, he says, I won't have my glory denied again, or some sort of thing like that. I won't have my destiny denied again. Right. You know, and I don't know if it's a reference to that or if there's something that I missed. But yeah, like, you can learn a lot from just reading fucking Archie, you know. I didn't know about Archie until, like, too much about Archie until April showed me. And that dude's like a fucking player or pimp or a hoe, manhole, whatever you want to call him. Like, don't be like that fool. He gets caught up all the time. Yeah.
That's the lesson you take.
Yeah. Me and my boy, we always go, like, and see movies together. So after we saw Infinity War for the first time, he asked me about it. He was like, "What did you think of Thanos?" And I think he was a great villain. And he was like, and I already started hearing other people say they thought that he was the best MCU villain. And I was like, well, in my opinion, I still think Killmonger is. Yeah. Like, I was like, because his message resonated with me.
I see that.
Different than Thanos' did. I'm like, how, like, he was abandoned. Not like just like them killing his father. Like, he had an entire country that he didn't even know about.
That could have saved him.
Could have, like, let's bring him home. Like, even if we got to change the narrative a little bit while he's young and then let everybody know the truth when he gets a little older, but, like, they abandoned this kid. His father's dead, and he makes it his mission to get revenge. And, like, not only that, but his mission to get revenge and to help people of color struggling in different parts of the world. Yeah. I'm like, but maybe his way of doing it was wrong, but you understood where he was coming from.
I totally agree. Like, the way he went about it to do it was wrong. Like, you can't step on other people's cultures and traditions just to do it, you know? But I also think that, with that said, that if Killmonger was still king and T'Challa wasn't, Wakanda would have fell really quick. Yeah. He would have had no idea how to fight him, and he distributed all those weapons around the world. Now it's like Wakanda has very little to none. Yeah. And he wouldn't know how to use the technology, I don't think. And what I think, what I would have done, as far as writing wise, I would have written it a little different. Okay. Because I felt like T'Challa depends too much on the serum, or and
the flower. Yeah.
When he fought him and he threw him off, I would have had T'Challa survive, and him come back and fight him without it, while Killmonger did have it. Now, Killmonger wouldn't have had the Black Panther purple serum. It wouldn't have been that. He would have had the super soldier serum.
Okay.
And he would have been a part of that special force unit from Civil War. Do you recall that? And he shot every one of them in the head. Yeah. He would have been a part of those dudes.
Okay.
So it would have been super soldier versus like Black Panther, but he has no powers, but he's using the suit, which would be cool. Like he's not as strong, but he's resourceful.
Yeah.
And then he would take it after to be strong again, but it would have proven that he doesn't need it. Right. He's skilled enough to fight.
Exactly.
And I would hope for that in the future, but yeah, I thought Killmonger was fucking crazy too. Yeah. Like, dude, this dude is nuts.
Even that opening scene in the museum, like when he's talking to the lady about the different artifacts, he was like, "No, it was found by soldiers in Benin, but it's from Wakanda. It's made out of vibranium." Like, excuse me? Like, he was like, "It's okay. I'm gonna take it off your hands for you." Like, and you see, like, not only like is he a villain, but he's smart and he's educated about what he's doing, you know. And one thing little nitpick I had about Black Panther was, like, to me, T'Challa seemed as a more formidable hero in Civil War. Like when you first seen him appear on the scene in Civil War to fight, he was going at Cap, he was going at Bucky, like he was holding his own. And I felt like you saw him struggle like so much in the movie Black Panther, like with his fighting, and I was like, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. I'm like, why is he struggling
to fight this fool, right? Yeah, like, I said that too because I feel like Killmonger, he's on the level of the Punisher. Right. You know, the Punisher did special forces, Navy SEALs, all that, and so did he. Right. You know, he went to other countries and killed a whole lot of people. Like, if the Punisher put dots all over his body, he'd be ass to elbow, you know? Yeah. And that's what I thought. Like, okay, well, that makes sense, though, because at the same time, Punisher is a bad motherfucker. Yeah. So he's just like the black version of him. Right. And he's just beating the shit out of T'Challa. And I was like, damn. But there were a few scenes that you noticed that T'Challa had him, like, in the thing, and he, like, let him up. Yeah. Fine, you know. But out of the phase, my favorite movie out of the, phase 3, it had to be, and I'm not sure if it's phase 3 or if I'm in the right phase, but it was Guardians of the Galaxy, the second one. Okay. Last year's whole thing. Okay. I love the music. I love like how bright the colors were, and I love the how do you say it? It wasn't like exactly a message, but how it was about his dad and how his dad, you know, killed his mom and how he had to go through killing his dad, who was basically a god, you know, a celestial. Yeah. You know, and he gave up being a god, you know, because he thought being a human was better. Yeah. You know, which was pretty humble. It was pretty humble of him to do. So, and then he got really emotional in Infinity War. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I was so mad at Star-Lord in Infinity War. Like, dude, let them get the glove off, please.
First, and then you can just wail on him.
Like, right, just give him a couple minutes. They almost got it off.
He's just like just an emotional boom, like... He didn't like listen to shit,
and I knew it as soon as he said, he asked him like, "Did you do it?" And he was like, "I had to." And I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, because you know how he is, like with his emotions.
I gotta say, I blame Nebula too, though. Nebula could have shut her damn mouth. Like, wait a minute, just quiet. Yeah, you know, and she was part of that. Yeah. But very I mean, everybody can back him up. Like go through the list of what he went through. But like you know, if you lost the woman you love, whether it's your mom or the actual woman you love, you might go a little crazy and not care whether you live or die after that. So yeah, I would like to give Batman vs Superman another look myself. I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan. Yeah, and I'm a huge Jason Momoa fan. Yeah. Don't care for Batman. I never will, man. I do care for, like, I guess if they could have picked a better person for it. I'm not saying that Ben Affleck's not a good actor. I'm not saying that at all. I didn't think he was the better fit.
I just don't like the indecisiveness that he's shown, like, playing the character.
Yeah,
like, it's a
you're off
character in cinema. Like, if you want to do it, do it. If not, if you got too much going on in your personal life, step away and let somebody else do it from the jump. But I'm like, you take on the role and you do a great job as Batman. Not so much as Bruce Wayne, but as Batman, I felt like he did a phenomenal job, especially in Batman versus Superman. Like, and to hear all the indecisiveness afterwards, like, I feel like it downplays everything that everybody's trying to do.
Yeah, he doesn't even believe in it. I mean, he's only wants to do it if it's going to be a major blockbuster or competitive. Right. What I don't like is, like, I only know he's only so buff. and then the suit kind of makes it look a little too out of it. Yeah. When Henry Cavill does it, I really believe it. Like he's that buff, he's that. But I know for a fact, like Ben Affleck's a big dude, but he's not that buff. So, with that said, I am going to throw out a crossover. Okay, so one of the guys is Thanos. We're gonna have Thanos as one of the fighters, and the other fighter is Kratos. Okay. Who do you have?
I will have to learn more about Kratos because I have never played the God of War game.
My God! We're gonna have to fix that.
And so, like, what I do know is like from like videos or like social media and stuff like that. So I know that he's powerful, but like. So I would definitely have to get more information about Kratos. So I can know.
Okay, well, that's what we'll do the next time you come. we'll talk about everything else again.
Gotcha.
What were you gonna say?
What about like Thanos versus like Juggernaut or something?
Okay, let's do that. We'll do. How about Thanos versus Darkseid? No gauntlet, no mother box.
I'll take Darkseid, dude.
Darkseid.
I'm taking Darkseid.
I would take Thanos simply because I know him to be like a warrior. Like he when he was on Titan, he was a fighter and shit like that. Darkseid is a born royalty. Yeah. I don't think he had to learn. He's just a badass. So like I think their power is very equal. But he has those beams. But their power is quite equal up until the skill part. It's kind of like Iron Man versus Batman. You know, like at some point, if you get Tony Stark out of there, it's fucking over.
Right.
You know. Okay, that's a good crossover. If you wanted to know the Kratos one, I would have picked Kratos. If you played if you get to play the fourth God of War, the creator of God of War paid homage to the gauntlet. Okay. So he has like a whole sleeve, and he could put like different stones in there that control time, space, reality, and shit. So that puts him on in level ground with Thanos. And if you put Kratos on level ground with anybody, it's over. It's over. So I honestly do. Kratos is my most ultimate favorite character as of now.
Right.
Yeah, other than my own characters that I have in my own writing box, you know, and my own stories. But other than that, I guess we're done. Do you happen to have any poetry on you?
Yeah, I think I have some on my phone to share.
Oh, we're gonna have a live performance right now, y'all. Dre Day the poet. You ready?
Gotcha. This poem is something I wrote a little bit over a month ago. It's really a lot different from stuff that I usually write. It's more of a spoken word style of poem, which I don't usually write poems like that, but it's just something that came to me and it felt very powerful to me. The roller coaster always goes down. You know who's real when you look around. They applaud and cheer when you can toast with champagne and beer. But once real life is near, then they're all in the clear. Once close to you when you on and popping, but stumble a bit and then they'll choose another option. No, my life is not a highlight reel of good times and inebriation. And even at my lowest points, I deserve a standing ovation. You see, the fact that I'm still standing is a miracle in itself. None of those stray bullets could stop me, nor could those thoughts telling me to kill myself. I'm still here, alive and kicking. And no, I'm not on top of the world, but I'm on a fucking mission to make my life phenomenal. To stop and smell the roses, tulips, and every flower in my vicinity. And welcome only the real into my life. So no, please, don't even try and pretend to be. Because I've survived those stray bullets, the physical abuse from my uncle and the teachers that told me I was too dumb. And I'm still right here, telling my problems you don't know where I'm from.
Powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would hope that our next open mic we can have you do some poetry. And
Absolutely.
I would love to have you on. So I'm glad you were on here to talk about. We wanted to give you a platform so you could talk about your side of the story and everything about why BVS is so powerful and impactful to you.
Definitely.
And I think even if you don't agree, just kind of respect the fact that he took the time to look that deep into the story.
Yeah.
Which if I wrote a story and someone looked that deep into it, I would truly appreciate it. There's no need to hate on it. So unless it's Batman. I'm just playing. So you guys have a good night. I'm Anthony Spartacus Tamayo, and this is
April Rodriguez.
And this is Deandre Garrett, a.k.a. Dre Day the Poet.
You guys have a good night.